Hi everyone, in this lesson we're going to be looking at the CAGED system. I know there's been a ton of videos on the CAGED system, how people use it, and I just like to go through it how I use it. So first we're going to just look at the basics. In upcoming lessons we're going to look at how to manipulate the CAGED system, because you can turn that CAGED chord into pretty much anything you want it to be. The CAGED system stands for C, A, G, E, D. So C, A, G, E, and D. These are 5 first position major chords. And the CAGED system is all about turning them into movable shapes on the neck of the guitar. So what do I mean by that? Well, let's look at an example. For instance, we have the E chord, right? So if you fret this chord with middle finger in first of G, pinky in second of D, and ring finger in second of A, we have freed up our index finger. Now put that index finger as an imaginary bar just before the nut. We still have our E chord, but if we want F, all we have to do is just move this shape up a semitone. By the way, if you don't know how it works with whole tones and semitones and notes on the neck of the guitar, then I advise you to look at one of my earlier lessons where I go into some detail on how that works. All right, so this is F. So if I want to have a G, I can move it up a whole step. A would be here, B, C. So this one chord now turned into 12 chords over the neck of the guitar. If we do the same thing, for instance, with the A chord, right, and we play that shape with pinky on second of B, ring finger in second of G, and middle finger in second of D, and put our pointer finger as an imaginary bar on just before the nut. If we want to turn this into a B, all we have to do is move it up 2 semitones or a whole tone. If we want to turn this into a C chord, all we have to do is move it up a semitone. If we want to turn this into a D chord, whole tone, then we get E, F, and G. Personally, I actually prefer to play it with index finger and ring finger as a small bar. It's just more playable, but you know. You can do this with all these chords, right? So with E, but also with the C chord, with the G chord, now the thing is that these are not always the easiest chords to play. So in some cases I actually do use those chords, although maybe in a more simplified form, like the C shape would be just playing the A, D, G, and B string, right? So if I play D with a C shape, I don't do that small bar like there. I just play like those 3. And then we have the G shape, and usually I just either use my pinky and then my index finger as a bar, which turns it in basically the same thing as this chord here. Now, why would you want to do that? Well, every chord on the guitar, like every chord shape, has its own pros and cons, like notes that are easily accessible or things that you can do with it. So for instance, if I play that A chord in a G shape, like and actually with A, I could still do those things, kind of, but if I would do that with C, it's hard to do that from my C chord. But my C chord, my A shape here, I have other things that I can do. So every chord enables you to, to play around with it in a different way. It makes different notes more accessible. You get, for instance, if I play C and I want to do a C add 9. If I do it like this, that's a tough one to play. If I do it like this, it's actually pretty easy to play. If I play C major 7 here, the major 7 is there. If I do it with my G shape, I can get just a different sound than what I would here. So even though at first it may feel like, well, I already know this chord, why would I do this one? It's just because every chord has its own, I don't know, like there will be things that will be easier to do with each chord. And sometimes it's just about the sound. Maybe you don't want this sound or that sound. Maybe you want something different. So you can if you know your way around the neck of the guitar. That's it for today. So if you want to know more about this, and then download the PDF from my Patreon page, there I got lined out like how you move these shapes across the neck of the guitar, like what we did in the beginning of the video. In a next video, we're going to be looking at how to manipulate the CAGED system to turn it into different chords. That's it for today. Hope to see you again sometime. Bye.